Recently, the Smiths released a compilation album called The World Won't Listen. That LP has now grown into a 28-track double set for its American release, and it's now become available here. It's called Louder Than the Bombs. Many of the songs on the extra LP were recorded in the Smiths' early days for John Peel's BBC radio show. The band was formed by Smiths guitarist Johnny Marr, and together with lyricist Stephen Morrisey, they've become two of the most distinctive and prolific songwriters in Britain in recent years. Morrisey has the highest profile in the Smiths and consequently does most of the interviews. But for the next hour, you'll see a fascinating interview with Johnny Marr, where he's talking with Australian journalist Doug Adamson. You'll also see a selection of Smiths videos.
We've only been together a few years and we don't feel under any massive pressure to change with each LP, because we pretty much like the sound that we've got, you know. Instrumentation-wise, this album's a little bit more varied because I've been playing a little bit more keyboards, pianos and organs and things. But the songs are still miserable rock songs, thank God, which I'm really pleased about. So there's no sort of massive change there, isn't it? And to answer the question, I'm not a frontman. I don't think I am. I think Morrisey's the frontman. And if people want an angle on the co-writer or the guitarist or however people see me, then that's fair enough. But I'm not the Smiths frontman. I formed the group, but I'm not the frontman.
Punctured bicycle on a hillside desolate. Will nature make a man of me yet? When in this charming car, this charming man, why pamper life's complexity when the leather runs smooth on the passenger seat? I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear. This man said it's gruesome that someone so handsome should care. A jumped up country boy who never knew his place. He said, return the ring. He knows so much about these things. He knows so much about these things. I would go out tonight, but I haven't got a stitch to wear. This man said it's gruesome that someone so handsome should care. Na, 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 na. This charming man. Na, 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 na. This charming man. A jumped-up country boy who never knew his place. He said, return the ring. He knows so much about these things. He knows so much about these things. He knows so much about these things.
How's Morrisey changed since you've been together in the Smiths?
Not at all, really. I don't think he's changed that much at all. I think he's still, as we both are, as intense about what we're doing as we always were, which is good and bad. It's not particularly good for our personal lives, but it's good for our career, which is what our relationship's founded on, really. And so we're still pretty much single-minded and about our career and ambitious and all those things, and intense about what we do. We do take the group very, very seriously in that respect. We're both as serious as each other. So I don't think Morrisey's changed really that much. And I don't really think success or public or fame is having an effect on him now. I think there was a period when it initially came that it did change him a little bit and he was getting used to things. But that's because he lives on his own mainly. And I think he went through a period of change when he had to adjust to sort of living in London and all this massive... Because he got a lot of sort of fame thrown on him quite quickly. I'd rather him than me. I mean, because I saw it was quite difficult, but now that was just a short period of time when he was just sort of adjusting. Well, I suppose we all were. But he's back to normal now, whatever that is.
That's very hard to define, isn't it?
Oh, he's a sweetie. I'm glad he hasn't changed.
Do you argue much?
We do. We disagree. We don't really argue too much because at the end of the day, it's not really going to get us anywhere. We try to come to a decision pretty much. But, you know, we've always had a sort of an agreement, if you like, where we agree to differ, one of those kind of situations. And it's normally about things that are less important than... it's not the things that maybe you'd imagine, you know. It's not anything monumental. We don't argue about things or disagree about things that are really, really important, like the songs, for instance, or the way the LPs sound, you know. Those really important things. It's more sort of minor things that we disagree on. Maybe just dates or venues or... But things like, are we going to tour, are we not going to tour, we pretty much always feel the same on, because we do spend a lot of time together. So if we're both feeling particularly sort of like we need a break or we want to make a record, or alternatively we want to tour, we both normally feel those things at the same time. Same with the way the records progress and the way we move, sort of songwriting-wise.
It seems you're very prolific. I mean, there's hardly, you know, a couple of months goes by without something new coming out.
Well, I try not to think... I mean, people do mention that to us, but I try not to accept it too much, because if it's prolific by other people's standards, then that's their tough luck, really. If people only write 10 songs a year, I mean, I think that's basically it. I'm starting to see that people expect us to be in the norm, which is, what, 10 songs a year, 4 singles off that LP, which is never it's never the way we've done things. I don't regard ourselves as particularly prolific by our own standards, because it's what we've always done. It's what I do. I write. I don't think there's anything sort of particularly amazing about being able to write however many songs we write a year, 20, 25 songs. Apparently since The Queen is Dead, I'm not sure, but since The Queen is Dead LP in this country, we've actually released sort of on record 12 songs, and we haven't even had the second LP, the following LP out. So by everybody else's standards, I suppose that's quite prolific. In between one LP and another, because of singles and B-sides and extra tracks, we release a lot of new songs. But I don't think we're prolific, no.
Do you find it easy to write?
Yeah. That's why I don't think we're prolific. That's what I do.
Do you have to be in a certain kind of mood to write?
No. Not really, no. I mean, to get back to what I was saying before, that's why... I mean, I can always write and find an angle on writing a song every day. But with this LP, even though it's been just as natural for me to write stuff, I have tried to write with a bit more sort of direct kind of emotion. I mean, that's to say some of the songs are quite brutal. Not in the sense that some of the old songs like Miserable Lie or What She Said, which were quite stompy and thrashy, they're quite brutal in a sort of in a melodic sense. Trying to get a little bit more discordant, and because I think probably as a fan and as a listener of music, I'm just really bored of commerciality. In a word, commerciality. You know, at the moment it seems to be really safe, and commerciality seems to mean non-progression and blandness. Whereas when we first started, we felt like commerciality was something that was really, really good and something not to be sneered on. And I think we proved that we could merge both sort of interesting ideas with an accessible sound with the old songs. But I'm getting less and less interested in that. Maybe it might be to the detriment of our record sales, but it's no good just churning out songs that are going to appear on the charts. I mean, I'd rather sort of sell much less records and make much more interesting music. Probably all musicians would probably claim the same, but whether they actually do it or not is debatable.
When Panic came out, a lot of radio people were fairly shocked, you know, the hang the DJ line.
Yeah.
Do you